Hi everyone, Oksana here. In today's presentation, I'm going to share with you some strategies how to increase your longevity. And most people who come to us for help, they deal with an autoimmune disease. You can go to our website and go to Viktoriya Oksana. You can click on different links. You can reach out to us and we can share with you specifically how we help people with all types of diseases. And because we work with our clients every single day, we monitor their progress. They submit to us their daily reports, which we give them feedback on and make any personalized recommendations as they go through the healing process. Everybody gets different instructions and feedback based on the type of diseases or symptoms that they're struggling with. So we help them make improvements so they can either get out of the plateau or see faster results in their health compared to everything else that they been doing so far. So in today's presentation, I'm going to share with you different strategies how you can increase longevity. But again, this is a general class. And if you're looking for personalized recommendations, then you can reach out to us for help. So one thing I wanted to talk about is my sister and I, we've had 15 years of experience in rapid disease reversal, where we helped clients become symptom-free, but also improve their lab marker. And we've documented our client results over the last decade. And you can find different cases, different people we helped with, either whether it was diabetes, heart disease, even improve their cholesterol levels, or rapidly improve their blood sugar levels, reverse insulin resistance, improve their organ function like kidney function and lung function, even stop aggressive diseases from progressing. And we've had people who even became symptom free within just 4 to 6 weeks of us working together, just following the process, how rapidly it has helped. And we have so many different cases. I'm not going to go over every different case, but you can go to our website or reach out to us by email to ask us if we are someone that we can help with. Okay. So you can always contact us, and either my sister and our assistant, Mia, who is working with us, she's going to get back to you as soon as possible to help you answer any questions you might have. So let's just quickly get into the presentation. And we teach a lot of different classes for clients, and we constantly update education. So something that we taught 3 years ago, we have new classes. So we don't continue teaching old information. We continue teaching new information based on our recent experience working with people, and as well as the research we are doing and reading for clients as well. So we teach different topics on how to heal your gut, how to heal your immune system, just so many different topics that we cover depending on different type of cases we're dealing with in the program. Okay, just a second. I got a email from one of my clients. So I want to talk about how to reverse aging and start reversing that process. So aging is a process. It's a physiological change in the organism that lead to senescence. And senescence is a decline of biological functions and an organism's ability to adapt to metabolic stress. So we're going to talk about the fountain of youth lifestyle. There's really top 10 strategies that we follow with the clients who come to us who either want to increase their organ cellular function, but also increase their longevity or slow down aging. So we focus on these 10 principles: eating real foods, avoiding inflammatory foods, and we help them figure out what they're still eating that's inflammatory. They might not be realizing it. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in this presentation. Avoid processed foods, reduce stress, smart supplementation, fasting in certain cases, optimizing sleep, tracking your own health, avoiding hospitals, and finding a sense of community. So we're going to talk about this strategy. So what a diet, people always ask us, what diet should I follow? But one thing I wanted to clarify is that research studies in humans have shown that when you eat a diet that's high in added salt, which is processed food, sugars, and oils, it damages your blood vessels. And it turns out that your blood vessels are a big determinant of how you age and your overall health. And that's something a lot of people argue with us with because they drink in olive oil, they think it's healthy for you, but it actually damages your blood vessels. And if you're trying to reverse your disease, that's the thing that's gonna be keeping you sick. So people who follow a program tend to live longer. Not only that, they also tend to live healthier. Why? Because they have a low risk of heart disease. and lower cholesterol levels. You have lower risk of certain cancers. Antioxidants, phytochemicals that we tell them to consume, the amount of foods they're eating to increase the amount of nutrients their cells are getting, also lowers the risk of certain cancers. Lower risk of obesity and better gut health. We teach you how to create healthy microbiome, better blood sugar control, lower exposure to toxins, which we're gonna talk about that. These are some of the toxins that people are exposed to and through food or the environment, primarily through foods that they consume. And one thing to realize that is that's something that's really interesting. Where do toxins really come from? Is where do these toxins that accumulate in our bodies for 40 years is really hard to get rid of? They come, this is the government data from EPA, and it just shows that the primary sources of these toxins, the accent in this chart is the higher up the food chain you go, the more toxins are accumulated in those foods. So you can see higher amounts on foods like dairy, beef, even milk, but the lowest amounts in soils and water have the lowest amounts. So we do teach our clients how to eliminate those toxins and also improve their current nutrition so they can heal their symptoms and increase longevity. But these other hidden foods as well as saturated fats that people think, healthy for them, but also trans fats, omega-6 fatty acids, which foods contain higher amounts of that, and mold from having mold exposure as well. And when we focus on cellular repair with our clients, we help them eliminate these toxins from their body and tell them exactly what they should be eating based on the specific case, how much they have to eat, and provide that personalized recovery that really made the difference for people. So toxins accumulate up the food chain, like I said, the higher up the food chain you go, the more toxin accumulation there is. So what are the things you can do to eliminate these toxins? Because as we age, some of these toxins they store in your body for 40 plus years. So as we age, we accumulate more and more of these toxins. Not only you have to eat the diet that's low in toxic exposure, but you also have to follow certain principles like elimination of these toxins as well, and stop injuring yourself. Because even if you take some kind of supplements like pectosol to get rid of these toxins, but you still continue eating food that's high in toxins, you're going to continue just re-injuring yourself with inflammation and basically canceling out any type of benefit you've received by eliminating through these toxins. And that's one of the reasons people don't recover by taking a bunch of supplements, because their diet is so wrong. It needs to be optimized. So some of the, what can you do to remove toxins? To get rid of them, one of them is this binding agent, is a modified citrus pectin, and it actually helps to bind to heavy metals. And this is one of the things that we recommend because it's less harsh on your gut. And this binder, pectosol, also inhibits a protein called galactin-3, which is associated with inflammation. We do help our clients reduce these levels of this protein, galactin-3, through, immune system optimization and optimizing the nutrition for rapid reversal of inflammation. But also people who have inflammation, they tend to have high levels of this galactin, which also inhibited by pectosol. So that's one thing that you can do, is supplement with that. And galactin-3 is normally part of our immune system when it's functioning normally, but when you have an autoimmune disease, your immune system is not functioning normally. So you tend to have high levels of it, and we tell our clients how to inhibit this level. So what do we generally recommend if you want to do a heavy metal detox or get rid of some of the toxins you have stored? For 40 years, you take the supplement, 6 capsules twice a day, 5 grams twice a day, but it should be taken on an empty stomach, 1 to 2 hours away from food or any type of supplements to really see benefit from it. Because it's going to bind to your medications, it's going to bind to any supplements you're taking. So you really want to take it away from anything else. And let's talk a little bit more about galactin. Galactin-3 is associated with lots of chronic diseases, which leads to premature aging. And it is a lectin, it's secreted by your immune system cells called macrophages. And macrophages are your white blood cells. And we can see them under the microscope. They kind of look like a Pac-Man, and they're basically eating up cancer cells and infection. And it was actually galectin-3 that was discovered in humans in 1994. But more recently, we connected the dots, and we said that galectin-3 levels are really high in all of these chronic diseases from A to Z, like asthma, cancer, heart failure, autoimmune diseases. So we help our clients lower these levels naturally so they can reverse their disease. So some of the basic principles, if you want to increase your longevity, stop drinking carbonated drinks, refined sugar, artificial foods, processed foods that actually not only damage our microbiome, but these products can keep people sick. And there's also, artificial foods, a lot of processed foods that people think healthy. Like when you go to grocery store, it says gluten-free paleo, but they can still be inflammatory. They can have those inflammatory oils or sugars or processed ingredients. That's what still makes them inflammatory. That's going to slow down aging. But also, processed sugar causes aging via insulin spikes and advanced glycation end products. So that means that the sugar that binds to proteins in our cells, including our skin cells, that accelerates aging. And it basically caramelizes your tissues, which basically means destroys your tissues. So we tell our clients what foods they need to eat to reverse this process. But one thing that people like to argue is they think olive oil is really healthy for you, all of these type of oils. There's been 5 studies that showed that adding any type of oil, whether even if it's olive oil, it showed that even if you eat a meal with olive oil, it showed decreased flow-mediated dilation. So what does this mean? It means that the flow through our blood vessels slowed down because the oil, including olive oil, was damaging the endothelium, so the lining of our blood vessels. So endothelium is a one cell layer that lines your blood vessels. And there was an article that Rita Clausen from Rita Clausen that olive oil, soybean oil, and palm oil all created a 35% endothelial impairment. It does damages your blood vessels. And damage to blood vessels not only increases the risk of heart disease, dementia, Alzheimer's, also nutrients do not reach your brain cells or cells as well. And Mediterranean diets, people think it's really good for you. Most of it is, they eat a lot of olive oil, but they saw that people who follow Mediterranean diet, they actually had a 25% more higher risk of getting cardiac events in the next 4 years. So heart disease, and this is going back to people like to argue because we are working with people daily. Every single day we have experience, but somebody who's healthy, they can tolerate these things. But somebody who's trying to reverse the disease, this could be causing more damage than good that you're assuming that it does. So all fats tested increased triglycerides levels, but as well as clotting factor. So if you still if you have a chronic disease going on, still happening in your body, then you have to reconsider with what you're doing is still working for you. So the new paradigm of longevity. So if you want to live till, if you want to wait 50 years for settled science to find all these published research studies to have it all come out in light, then you're not going to survive. So instead of waiting 50 to 100 years, wellness really starts at the cellular level. And realize that the big pharma, they're interested in medications. They're interested only in studies that show what medications can do. They're not interested in wellness. They're not interested in longevity. They're not going to publish the work that we do with clients because there's no money in that compared to how much money they can make from selling $1 billion of medications. So you have to start at the cellular level. You want to start with nutrition, movement, rest. You want to reduce your toxin exposure. And you have to focus on your self-care and as well as smart supplementation. So most physicians are not studying or practicing longevity medicine. And the interest in this field is growing exponentially. And there are people like us who are actively studying and pursuing it. And your primary doctor probably it doesn't know or care to understand or to learn most of what we are sharing with our clients in a program. And aging is a recent problem because ancestors were much more likely to die from infection, trauma, starvation than from an old age. And the physiology of longevity medicine is that prevention is a smarter approach than our existing disease care system. But the current law in this country, in the United States, is not very helpful. In Medicare guideline section 2251.3 says that a treatment plan that seeks to prevent disease, promote health, and prolong and enhance the quality of life, or therapy that is performed to maintain or prevent deterioration of chronic condition is deemed not medically necessary. So what does this mean? It means that your insurance is not going to cover type of these type of programs because it's a backward system. We're in the disease management system where you basically have to wait until you got the end stage, very difficult to treat disease, as opposed to putting the resources, money, and time into preventing it in the first place. And insurance says a parent's paying around $7,000 a year, and it won't even cover a basic lipid panel. So you're gonna save yourself at least 20 to 30 to $50,000 down the road by learning the tools and strategies we teach our clients versus waiting until you get sicker and putting any type of savings you have left trying to treat a very aggressive cancer. So wouldn't you rather learn how to prevent it or reduce the time you develop it? So what we teach our clients is even if you have a risk for chronic disease, which most of them already have a genetic predisposition to getting it because they already sick with an autoimmune disease, we help them not only start reversing that process, but also improve how your body functions so that way you become healthier and stronger version of yourself if you continue implementing what we teach you in a program. And down the road, it's going to save you thousands of dollars if you really take care of your health the right way. So the hallmark of aging starts to appear by the age of 25, and we see NAD plus levels drop. NAD plus is a molecule critical to metabolic function and DNA integrity. We do teach our clients how to increase NAD levels naturally without the supplementation, but it's really been popular recently. A lot of people start supplementing with it, but it does require certain type of coenzymes found, in the food to help it work better. But then there's also nitric oxide that these levels drop as we age too. So there's ways you can increase it through food, which is a safer, aside from just taking supplements. So some of the events that I have attended from different doctors who focus on longevity, they did talk about smart supplementation, which means best way to increase your NAD levels is take a supplement. But again, people who already have cancer growth, some doctors are saying that NAD plus, it also helps to increase cancer growth if you already have it. So that's something you want to be aware of. But another thing we talked about, safer ways to increase NAD plus through your nutrition, so foods that are high in nitric oxides, but as well as knowing things that inhibit that, which is caffeine inhibits nitric oxide. Caffeine lowers blood flow to the brain by 27%. And there's different types of supplements like anti-cancer, neuroprotective, anti-inflammatory. It also improves mitochondrial function. Most of the clients who worked with us in a program, they have not needed to take any of the supplements because we focus on the fundamentals, which is optimizing your cellular function through nutrition and only focusing on 2 to 3 supplements that they have to take. That's why we call our program supplement free, because we don't make you take a bunch of pills. Because this class is specifically focuses on longevity, I'm only sharing with you 3 supplements that have been shown to help slow down aging process. But it's not something that we focus on in a program when we help people recover with autoimmune diseases. So another thing is power exercise. Exercise actually for reversing aging is better than any supplement you can imagine. And I'm talking about regular exercise that you enjoy doing. It prolongs your lifespan and your health span as well. So I'm a fan of aerobic exercise, increase your heart rate, get you sweating. It will help you get the toxins out faster, or high intensity interval training, muscle building. And again, you can do all the muscle building safely without increasing inflammation from your diet. Because a lot of people think, if they're trying to build muscle, they also have to consume a lot of protein powders, but that's not true. It's only going to make your disease and inflammation worse. So we tell our clients exactly what type of exercise they can do based on their health goals and the status of their health and disease. So exercise is really important for increasing longevity, but as well as sleep, reducing sleep and optimizing your sleep as well. We want to reduce the bad type of stress in a diet. So a lot of people who are sick, they have a lot of chronic stress because that's what adding to a lot of inflammation too. And obesity, it can increase your rate of aging. So what you want to really focus on, how do you reduce stress, meditation, yoga, breathing exercises. There's just so many more. And for sleep, we have a whole lecture on sleep with our clients, that we teach them how they can improve sleep. But that's really important as well. So just a summary of this presentation, some things to implement to help you increase longevity, and 10 ways to reduce aging. You just follow these 10 steps and focus on optimizing each one of these steps. And if you're somebody who's struggling with chronic disease and you need personalized help, then you can also reach out to us, and you can send us an email, and our assistant is going to get back to you and tell you whether or not you're somebody who will benefit from us working together. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to send us an email.